A Friend for Poochi by Meera Ganapathy at Storyweaver. Poochi had 100 legs and was quite hairy. No, wait, he was very, very hairy. Anyone who touched him would come down with an uncontrollable fit of itching. So most people stayed away from him. Poochi wished he couldn't see them all making icky faces and scurrying away when they saw him. But with 6 large eyes, it was hard to overlook that kind of meanness. He hid in dark places, under dry leaves and in wet mud where no one would run into him or exclaim at his ugliness. Hidden away like that, Poochi felt safe for quite a while, but as the days went by, he grew bored. Poochi needed a friend. One day, deciding to be brave, he brushed himself with a dry leaf and approached an ant family nearby. "Hello," said Poochi, smiling at the line of red ants, displaying his hairy teeth. He really was super hairy. Even his teeth had hair. "Work, work, work," the ants chanted as they walked past him carrying heavy loads of sugar and dirt, their stingers high and proud in the air. The ants had no time for friends. Instead, Poochi decided to chat with a snail. She seemed to take things easy. "Hello," he said sweetly. But the snail crawled into her shell in record time, by snail standards. "I'm shy," she shouted from inside the shell. "Can you leave a note instead?" But Poochi had no paper to write a note on. Besides, he wanted to talk. "Maybe I need to meet someone more outgoing," he said to himself. But who? A buzz filled the air and Poochi noticed a tiny dark cloud flying overhead. Aha! An army of mosquitoes. The mosquitoes were always buzzing around in a swarm. What fun it would be to make friends with this rowdy bunch. "Hello," said Poochi. "Blood, blood, blood," slurred the mosquitoes. They barely even noticed Poochi as they swarmed away in search of another drink. "Maybe I need a friend who isn't too busy or shy or rowdy," thought Poochi. Just then he noticed a plump golden wasp drinking nectar out of a pink flower. Poochi cleared his throat. Hello?" He felt a bit nervous. She was so golden and pretty. Poochi's words rushed out of him. "Can we be friends?" The wasp laughed. "Why would I want to be friends with you? I have a whole colony of friends." With that, she flew back to her nest. Poochi wanted to cry, but his tears could never decide which eye to fall from. So he shook his head sadly and hid under a leaf. It was cold, wet, and a bit stinky there, but that was exactly how he liked it. Who needs friends, thought Poochi. That night there was a big storm, and the leaf that covered Poochi was blown away. Homeless and scared, Poochi curled himself into a ball. The next morning, Poochi felt better and stretched out his 100 legs one by one. He crawled out of his hole in the soil and walked towards the green grass in search of breakfast. Eek! Poochi looked up to see a little girl looking down at him, screaming. He seemed to have crawled up her shoe. Horribly ashamed of his ugliness, Poochi scrunched himself into a tight ball and refused to look. "Shh!" came another voice, calm and gentle. "That's a beautiful little Poochi," said the gentle voice. Poochi opened one of his eyes to see who this could be. Who was this who knew his name? Wait, who was this who thought he was beautiful? The voice belonged to an old lady who tenderly deposited Poochi onto a leaf with a twig. "Poochies are a gardener's best friend," said the old lady to the little girl. "They help turn the soil into manure and keep everyone in the garden healthy and happy." The old lady picked up the leaf Poochi was on. Poochi felt warm inside. He looked up sweetly at the old lady. The lady smiled back. And then she chucked him. "Eee!" screamed Poochi as he plunged deeper and deeper into a dark, sunless pit. Bump! He landed softly on something damp, cool, and stinky. Deliciously stinky. He sniffed the air again. orange peels with a hint of rotting banana skin, delicately crumbled eggshell, mulchy, mouldy bread, ripely rotting rotties, stale, aging cake, sickly, squelchy sabji, grey, furry dahi, grossly garbagey cabbage. He was in the most amazing place ever, a large, damp and stinky compost heap. Poochi squelched his way through the beautiful mulchy darkness, feeling everything around his new home. He'd be so happy here. But suddenly a thought struck him. Would he also be lonely here in the darkness, with no one to talk to? Just then, "Hello," came a voice out of the darkness. "Can we be friends?" said another voice. "Who is there? What is your name?" asked Poochi. "Poochi," said one. "Poochi," said another. "Poochi," said one more. "Poochi," said yet another one. "Dr. P-U-Chi, M-A-M-B-B-S," came another voice. "Le Poochi," said another someone else. "T'Poochi, the T is silent," said another. As his eyes adjusted to the dark, Poochi noticed hundreds of worms of different shapes and colours gathering and mushing soil. He was delighted. From then on, Poochi spent his days with many Poochi friends. Now that Poochi has gotten older, he lives in the gardener's home in a pot by the window where the soil smells of lemons. She is still his best friend. The end.